Welcome back to the Biz Alchemy podcast. This is a very special, a very sacred episode. I won't give it away just yet. I'll share at the end a little more about that. But I even went through a little ritual before I recorded this. I lit my candle, sprayed my rose spray, did an anointing with my beautiful pure rose oil, really centered myself before recording this. And even as I'm speaking, I feel a little emotional. I mean, it has been an emotional time for me anyway, with some personal things that have happened. But I've found since this last eclipse season, I feel like I'm in a different world. Sometimes it's like the ground beneath my feet no longer feels stable. I'm not even quite sure where I am some of the time. And this has been reflected in my dreams. It's been reflected in my perception of nature and my interaction with nature. I had this incredible interaction with several birds, including 4 kookaburras recently, who were gathered around me in a circle within arm's reach, just staring at me, just being with me. And if you want to know more of that story, it's in my Patreon membership. You can join that for free. So I'll pop the link below in case you want to read that story. It was the most incredible experience. Talk about sacredness. That was incredible. But I'm having more of these experiences. And as I record this, I'm about to head on my 4-month European pilgrimage. This won't be released until I'm actually in England. But I'm at that period where you know that you're about to begin a new chapter and you're winding up the old chapter. That's exactly how I feel right now. And this is both in my personal life and in my business. And this strange feeling I'm talking about of almost being not quite of this world, I truly feel we're going to experience this more and more. And this is because we are spending more time in the frequency of New Earth or the frequency of the 5th dimension. And it's surreal. And a part of this is that things are going to change whether we like it or not. Things will have to be released whether we like it or not. And of course, we always like to hold on to what's familiar, what's comfortable, what feels in a way effortless because it's how we've always done something, even though we may have outgrown it. But I feel like we're not even going to be given a choice. The old will go. And this is in your personal life as well as in your business. And I sense that there will be more and more dissatisfaction for those of you in business who are not allowing your business to evolve with your own personal evolution. My business has evolved significantly in the last 12 months. It's had to, because I have. And this evolution began this time last year when I was about to head to Europe for what I thought was 8 weeks then. At that point, I had no idea what to expect. I was holding my first ever retreat. I did not know what that would look like. I did not know how it would impact the women joining me on that retreat. All I knew was I was being guided to create this space and call in those women who were aligned with my energy. And it was pure magic. And that pure magic changed me in such a profound way that my business had to change. And if you've been listening to my podcast over the last year, or if you're on my newsletter list or listening to me in all the other places, you'll know that there has been a lot of change for me, in my business especially. I was just reflecting on where I was at when I began this podcast 3.5 years ago. I had actually just gone through a little bit of a health scare. I had this high blood pressure that came on from nowhere. I'd never had a problem with my blood pressure. It stopped me in my tracks and I wasn't able to work for a couple of weeks. And it made me reflect upon my business. And I was working hard in my business. It was in the middle of COVID and there was more time, wasn't there? So I put my energy and my time into my business, but I was working really long hours and I was creating a lot of content. And I had planned on creating the podcast before this happened, but it just happened that they coincided. And so, of course, my focus, I was talking about the beach philosophy at the time. And if you go back and listen to those early episodes, I was talking about the acronym of beach and what it stood for in this new paradigm of business. And I was speaking about what I was learning to implement within my business. That's the way I've always been. I share my journey as I'm walking my journey. And if it resonates with you, come along for the ride. I haven't mastered it. I have no idea where I'm going. All I know is this feels important to me right now, and I'm sharing it with you. And that's how I was at that time. I was very diligent. I released a podcast episode every week, and there was an infinite number of topics for me to talk about. I still had lots of one-to-one clients at that stage, so I was able to see where female entrepreneurs were struggling with the patriarchal model of business and finding it hard to tune in to their own intuition and what was right for them. And so eventually my podcast morphed into talking more about having an intuitively led business, because I realized that underneath it all, it wasn't about going no to the patriarchal model. It was about going, what's my intuition telling me? It was about saying yes to yourself. So as my journey evolved in how I spoke about what I was offering, this was a reflection of my personal journey. And I never stop in terms of my personal evolution. I mean, well, none of us really do, but consciously, I don't. Consciously, I am always willing to expand, willing to embody more light, willing to go through sometimes some dark periods and some painful periods and very constricted periods to birth through into more light. So as I go through this personally, of course, my business had to change with me. A couple of years ago, I received the importance of receiving. So then I branched into my Patreon channel about receiving and about what I was seeing energetically as this silver grid that was being activated in the earth to bring us more into our yin energy, into the sacred feminine energy. And as that continued to evolve, and then I went on my journey last year to Europe and had the rose line wisdom reactivated in me, I began to see that the silver grid was foundational, the sacred feminine, to bring in the sacred masculine, the golden grid, to find the point of sacred union. So then that took me on a whole other journey of remembering around the rose line and what it is and what the codes of the rose line held in the earth mean and what the beings of the rose line who've incarnated brought the earth. So this was quite a different direction, it would seem, from talking about business energy. But where it's all come together for me now is that whether I'm talking about business or whether I'm tuning in and channeling the rose line, I am assisting you in the shifting of your frequency into the new earth frequency. Or maybe it would be better to say the expanding of your frequency into the new earth frequency. I'm supporting you to create a new earth business, and I'm supporting you to remember your new earth destiny, because ultimately they go hand in hand. So this 4 months that I'm about to spend walking the rose lines of Europe, as I've called it, visiting sacred sites that have drawn me. I'm going all over the place. It's not a well planned out itinerary. I begin in England, which is more of a personal retreat for me in the New Forest. Make my way to Edinburgh so I can go to Rosslyn Chapel for my birthday because that's where I wanted to be. Then I head to Biarritz in France to visit a friend, and then I have the French pilgrimage retreat. And from there, I head to Bulgaria because I really was called to go to the Valley of the Roses in Bulgaria. And it just happened that the few days I'm there is the annual Rose Festival. So that's going to be an incredible journey. I'm really excited about that. And from there to Glastonbury in England to hold another retreat, and to Avebury to hold another event. And then I'm flying back to Europe, to Italy, to Assisi for another retreat. And from there, back to France. Are you wondering, how do I even remember this? I have no idea. I'm going back to France to visit my friend in Biarritz, and we're going up to Chartres. I really want to walk the labyrinth at the cathedral there. An amazing experience if you've never done that and you're in France. And then I'm going back to Florence in Italy. I haven't been there since my first European journey in 1989. So I'm looking forward to going back there for a few nights. And then I go back to Assisi to meet my son and his girlfriend, who are coming over to have about 10 days with me. And we're spending time there. Then we go to Sardinia. And then I head to Ireland for another retreat. Then from there, I felt really called to go to Greece. And this is because next year I will hold a retreat in Greece. So I'm going to do a little bit of scouting. And I'm heading to Mount Olympus, to Delphi, Athens, and then Crete, which is where I will finish this journey. So you can see what I mean when I say I am crisscrossing all over Europe. It was not well planned, but it's where I've been called to go. And I knew I have to be at this place on these dates. And this is where the sacredness of the work comes in. This is not about my mind going, why would you plan an itinerary like that? This is about my heart going, I'm being called to be here on this land at this time. And if this is something that you feel a resonance with, this communication and connection with the land, this concept that I have talked about before, that the land holds something for you and you hold something for the land. And it's like there's an energetic exchange happens. So if this is something you're interested in, you might like to join an offer that I have created for my tribe, where you receive 8 meditations recorded from 8 of these places. So I'll be on the land, I'll be bringing through the energy and the codes of the land, recording a meditation, and you'll get it in your inbox. So you will be activated directly by that land, well, through me as the conduit. So I do have this special offer available. I'll pop the link below. It's 88 Australian dollars to receive those meditations. And there are also a limited number of places available if you would like to receive a 15-minute personal activation. So I'm recording it especially for you from one of those sites. Not the itinerary I just laid out for you. I don't know why I went through that. I was getting a bit excited. But from one of the 8 sites where the meditations are. So you can go to my website. It's on the homepage, or just click on the link below if you are interested in joining me for that. It's a very profound way to receive the energy of the land. So who will I be on the other side of this? I have no idea. No idea. I know how much I changed last year after it ended up being a 3-month journey. That journey now feels quite sedate compared to what I'm actually doing this year. And what will my business be on the other side of this? I don't know. Oh, that reminds me, actually. Another way that you can follow this journey is through my YouTube channel. So my YouTube channel is my name, Jacquelyn Atkins. I'll put the link below. But I am going to create like a little bit of a travel vlog, just to show you the sites, the places that I'm going to, and share a little bit of my experience there. It won't be so much a channeled experience or meditations like I will have with my offer, but it will give you some glimpses into the places that I'm visiting. I've always been a traveler. As I said, my first journey was in 1989 to Europe. I've returned many times over the years, and I've been to other places in the world, but that's where I've been called back to time and time again. And I know that a part of my New Earth destiny is about translating the codes held in this sacred land and these sacred sites for others to receive. And that can sound like a really woo-woo thing, and it is really, in a way. But I know deep within my being that that's what I'm doing. And so whether you are following my journey on YouTube or whether you join my meditation offer, I will be bringing you the gifts of these sacred places, and that will assist you in embodying your new earth destiny, in remembering why you are here, and ultimately to be able to express that fully through your business. And this is what will enable your business to move into the frequency of new earth. So as part of this new chapter that I'm beginning, I'm just writing the last line now on the chapter before. As part of this new chapter, my focus will be on YouTube. My focus will be on my Patreon channel, which you can join for free, as well as becoming a paid member. And once I return from Europe, I will also put some focus back into Insight Timer, where I love showing up and doing my lives. So what this means is I have decided that for now, it is time to complete my Biz Alchemy podcast journey. I have loved chatting with you over the last 3.5 years, even though I don't get a response, which as a generator is a little bit trickier for me to navigate. But if you join me on YouTube, then you can leave a comment. We can have a chat if I do a live stream, and there can be more interaction. And this is what my heart really craves. I have learned, though, to never say never. I could get some amazing inspiration while I'm on this journey and say, oh my gosh, I really want to chat about that on the podcast, and I'll be back. But for now, this feels like a closure, a completion, the end of a chapter. I have changed. My business has changed. And as I said, sometimes that means letting go of things that we love, but maybe don't give us the opportunity to be the full expression of who we are now. So be sure to continue following me, whether you join my newsletter list at jacquelynatkins.com, subscribe to me on YouTube, follow me on Insight Timer, or become a member of my Patreon group. Let's continue this exciting journey together as we co-create New Earth. Thank you for being part of my tribe.